Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm seeing some of the stupidest trade rumors out there for the Lakers. And I just want to remind everybody that the Lakers have a depth issue. So if we're trading away 6 players and bringing back 2, you're not making anything happen for yourself if you're the LA Lakers. That's what it really comes down to. I respect that this is the value of these players. A lot of our players' value is low. So if you're trying to go after a Cam Johnson or a Brandon Ingram or even a Zach LaVine at this point, you're probably going to have to give away a lot of pieces if you're the Lakers. But if you're not bringing back multiple bodies, then you've defeated the purpose of what your needs truly are. You have a body issue. Most of the players that are on your bench are either not productive basketball players or underdeveloped basketball players. And so you want to do a trade so that you can make yourself more of a contender. You want to get closer to being able to win. If you're relying upon people who can't stay healthy in order to do that, you're not going to win. If you're relying on people who can't produce on the basketball floor, you're not going to win. So whatever trade the Lakers make can't make them worse in either one of those categories. You know what I mean? You bringing me another star, that don't mean nothing. He rolls an ankle, now I'm looking like the Philadelphia 76ers. It doesn't work. It does not work. That 3-star model crap does not work. So if you're trying to make your team better, the object of the game is to make sure you have more capable bodies, not less. Now, if you're going to try to go for broke and just lean on a 7-player rotation, I'll tell you it's not going to work. I'll tell you that I've only seen one team win a championship that way in the modern era, and that's the Denver Nuggets. And they didn't have LeBron James on the squad. You know what I mean? They had more of a Jokic type piece who's a little more reliable to stay healthy. So what's the interest here? If you're going to try to trade away 6 and 7 players that are not very productive for one productive player and then take our chances? Or are we going to try to make sense of what we're doing and look for the best possible option to get better, whether it's something that's going to make us basically less reliable to stay healthy and more likely to bottom out any damn way? You know, I saw a trade that had us getting back Brandon Ingram, had us taking back Cam Johnson, but we're sending like 6 players out 2 seconds in the first. That's not something the Lakers can do, because not only are you finding yourself without your picks, which in this case I guess is worth it when you consider the pick situation. It's worth it. But at the same time, if you're going to find yourself without the players and the picks, that's just more equity going out. So if you got your equity exiting your franchise and the amount of bodies that can make you healthy are also exiting the franchise, bringing back a tradable star could potentially make you feel good about yourself. But like I said, now you're relying upon that star who's undoubtedly going to be overworked. You're asking them to stay healthy throughout the duration of the season. If this goes where you want it to go, the playoffs and further. And then after making it as far as you hope to go, best case scenario is you turn around and trade that star you just got for more bodies. And as I said, while that could be a thought that someone has in their head, the reality is you're probably going to run that player into the ground because of the fact that you don't have those bodies. That player is likely going to lose value in your market because they're going to get worn down. So it doesn't actually equate to what a lot of people think it does. It really don't. You trade 3 for 1 and it doesn't work. It's pointing at me. I wish I could, brother. And it's one of them situations. It's one of them situations where you just want the Lakers to kind of have all of this in mind so that when they make decisions to make their roster better, they don't find themselves in a situation where they're getting better on paper as it pertains to the top heaviness of the team, but then more likely to have those top heavy players get hurt or be stuck to contracts that last well beyond the era we're in, where we have certain specific needs. You know what I mean? Your needs will change. And then the likelihood that you will need the player you have changes. For better or for worse, it changes. So when you start making short-term decisions that last a long time, you're going to have to live with that throughout the course of changes to your roster. So, you know, and then you got to think of the likelihood of being able to get out of those circumstances if they become a problem later on for future rosters. If we can't, let's say we bring ourselves Zach LaVine, LeBron retires, maybe AD wants out. Well, if we run AD into the ground or if we run Zach LaVine into the ground in a 7-player rotation, and he happens to lose value for whatever reason, whether it be injury or what have you, now the likelihood that you're going to be able to trade his albatross of a contract in future seasons when you're ready to reset your situation decreases. People know you want to reset. People know you're going to want picks for his player. Maybe you can't get picks for him anymore because of the fact that you don't have the leverage to demand that. So it's like, can you really get it done? I don't think so. It's probably not worth the risk if you think that the ceiling of your championship hopes can't be reached by doing it. You can't, you know what I mean? You're not going to win doing that. So then it becomes a situation where it's probably in your best interest, once you make the trade to get the Zach LaVine piece, to try to underuse Zach LaVine to increase the likelihood that he stays healthy through the course of the season, which probably eats away at your chances of winning with him any damn way because you're a shallow basketball team at that point. That's why bringing something to you with the intention of retrading it is a very risky decision. So, like, these are the things that Laker fans ain't thinking nothing about a lot of times. And I'm not speaking for everybody because I'm a Laker fan too, but like 9 out of 10 fans make trade, get garbage off team, bring good player to me, let's win. They ain't thinking about all the other stuff that has to be considered. They don't know nothing about the apron situation that makes it so that once you make a trade like that, you might not be able to get out of it. A lot of these moves put you in the higher tier apron. You bring yourself a Zach LaVine contract, you got Bron and AD, you're at the top of the tiers. You can't get out of anything you do at that point. Everything you've done has put you in a position where you can't undo it. So, like, the likelihood that the Lakers would even sign off on this, even if fans think it makes sense, slim to none. Slim to none. And so that's why it's so important that the common heads continue to educate the common fan about what is possible, what is not, what player situations make sense, which don't. Because it ain't as simple as get trash off team, bring me good player, let's win. These aprons assure that it makes it much more difficult for these teams to do that. So that's why I want people to understand on my channel. It's like, it ain't just as simple as us getting what we want and getting rid of what we don't. If it was, your team would already be very good, and so would a bunch of other teams too that ain't no good. So, you know, nobody's gonna want to take your trash off your hands, man. Least of all, to give you something good that's gonna help you win. Mind you, you're trading with teams that are going to be going up against you. So it ain't like they looking forward to going up against you once they make you better. This is not how that works. You got to develop talent. You got to draft well. If you have the ability to attract free agents, you got to sign them to contracts that make sense for you. And you got to understand how difficult it is when you do certain things in this era of aprons, man. So I'm trying to help. I've been trying to help people for a long time in this community. Hey, can't just do whatever we want just because we purple and gold. We got 17 championships. It don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of what we trying to do to build more championships. That ain't gonna get you. Your history ain't gonna make people respect you anymore or provide you any more what you want. It doesn't work like that. You know, you gotta have leverage. You gotta have stuff people want that you don't mind getting rid of. It takes something good to get something good. And once you make certain decisions, you gotta know what your options are from there. If you make a decision that you can't get out of, then you've made a decision that wasn't worth doing. You know, we're the franchise that should have learned from the Russell Westbrook situation. That's what I want to say to all of you. If anybody knows better than to bring themselves something that they thought was good, only for it to get here and it not be any good and not worth anything, it's us. You know, the Russell Westbrook situation cost us players that won championships, cost us picks, first round kind. Our team was worse with this man on it. We got out of that luckily because he didn't get hurt in our uniform. If he would have got hurt, it would have been even worse. You wouldn't even been able to get the stuff that you got for him if he would have gotten hurt. That 3-star model stuff is not. It's too risky. It's too damn risky. So that's the problem with the 3-star model. And I get it. If you can get Wemby and Luka on the team, then yeah, it's worth it then. But some of these players that people think are stars, you know, or guys that used to be stars yesterday who are still priced at star right now, but only have like 5 more minutes in their prime, that is not smart when you know they got contracts that last past what their prime expectation is going to be. That doesn't help you if you're going to bring that player to you when you got 2 other superstars next to him and you trying to build a team that has any depth, a team that can give them an opportunity to not be leaned on too much. That's not real in this league right now. That's not real. It may be what's required to beat teams, everybody. It may be what's required to win a championship, but you got to know how those teams actually built themselves. Golden State did not build themselves just bringing themselves a bunch of superstars. The superstars they had in place, most of them they had drafted, and that makes a difference. It makes it easier to pack them next to one another. They got lucky. They developed guys, and guys reached their highest ceiling. And if you have a team like that in the league, and you think, well, in order to beat them, we got to build that. You're not going to build that. That's the reality. You're not going to build that. You can mess around and put yourself in a position to not be very good trying to build that, because if you try to build that without the elements that they had, then you're not going to have what you need. You know what I'm saying? But teams that are giving away picks, trading picks, trying to build that, because that's the highest order and you got to be able to overcome it, you're going to fail. You have failed. You got to draft, man. Boston, their 2 best players, drafted them. They drafted them. That's why they can put a Porzingis next to these 2 $300 million contracts and still have a bench, because they drafted all these people. Even some of their better role players, they drafted. And they got lucky in trades because somebody had just given away Drew Holiday and they were able to get him from a patsy team that didn't know what the hell they were doing in Portland. These are things that were lucky. They got lucky in these situations. You know what I'm saying? One of their best bench players is a Peyton Pritchard. They drafted him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these are things that you can't duplicate in the league. You can try to duplicate these things. You can try to say, okay, well, this is what we need to do because that team exists. So how we beat them is to get as much talent as they have, but you're not going to have as much talent as they have. If you didn't mortgage all your picks away, played some dude some absorbent amount, paid his running mate some absorbent amount, got a role player that's not productive, making $12 million a year, like, you ain't going to build that. You're not going to build that. So if that's what's required to win a championship, you ain't going to get one. But you can put yourself in a hole trying to build one the wrong way. You can do that. And that's what we've seen a lot of teams do. So, I don't know, man. I understand that it's great clickbait, telling people that we can build a super team, or, you know, making all these different trade, it provides clicks. So it's like, we talk about trades, we can get clicks. You know, we just get Zach LaVine on the Lakers. Let's see if we can superimpose somebody else's body onto a Laker uniform, and it's exciting. Man, that stuff is not real. That's not how you actually build a champion. If you happen to win a championship doing that, you probably got lucky and other teams probably got hurt. These type of stuff, it's just not, you can't count on it. You're much more likely to find yourself with a bunch of stuff you can't get rid of than you are with the likelihood of winning a championship doing that. And we've seen so much evidence of that at this point. It's not no hearsay. That's what it shows us. It doesn't work. What does work is drafting players, hoarding picks, developing talent. That's what works. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. I hope people are listening to me. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.